I feel like an electrified corpse.
What have you done today besides put stickers on?
I barely slept and I've had like 3 cups of coffee. I feel fucking awesome.
Why'd you barely sleep?
Hey, those stickers were a lot of effort, man.
I had the heat gun.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Yamcast. This is episode 19. We have a special guest with us today, Brandon Altmeyer, Fast Boy Extraordinaire. We're joined as always by Spite, Resident Cruiser Boy, and myself, Yammie Noob. Today we got a bit of news from Harley Davidson. It wouldn't be a Yamcast without Harley Davidson making it in the cut. We've also got some news from MotoGP. We're going to have to talk about it. It was an amazing race. We're going to talk about it. It's my podcast. I do what I want. And then we got some amazing call-ins that are going to be coming in from our Discord boys, and we're doing a beautiful, wonderful contest from our boys as well for Hayabusa memes. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. That was all over the place.
Yeah, that was like a Trump-esque intro right there.
All right. Fuck it. I did it. So here we go. All right.
Yam 2020.
Yeah. Spite, load us up with our first bit of news.
Well, I feel like, considering I'm sitting here next to a pair of fast boys, we might as well just start with the MotoGP news. And that is up to you all to lead in. This is not exactly my area of expertise. However, I do know that some spectacular shit happened this weekend.
This last weekend was literally, I think, for the history books, right, Brandon? I would say.
Yeah, it definitely left its mark.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, a lot of controversy, a lot of people being mad where I don't think they should be mad, but...
So we're going to try to pick apart the big stories of the weekend because honestly, like, everyone, I think, saw the crash,
yes.
right? Everyone saw the enormously close call that Rossi had. And if you want to pull that up right there, we can just watch it on
run
stream.
In the background.
It was just absolutely a miracle that we did not lose Viñales or Rossi because I mean, it literally threads the needle between...
Or Morbidelli or
anybody.
Zarco, really. No one got hurt.
I mean,
at all.
Morbidelli's bike is literally the definition of a yard sale, though. Like,
so Zarco's.
Zarco's was spent as well. Just the fact that nobody got seriously injured from this incident is literally unbelievable. It's an act of God, I think, in my opinion. Brandon, any comments on this?
It's the likelihood of everyone walking away was so slim.
So slim.
It's amazing that it ended how it did, especially if you watch. This is
Rossi's onboard, yeah.
He admitted later in the press conference that he never saw Morbidelli's bike.
Look,
all he saw, the only thing.
I mean,
it's insane. The only thing Rossi ended up seeing was Zarco's bike. It wasn't until he got back to the pits that he realized Morbidelli's bike was that close to him.
And what's wild is you can see when he's in the pit and he's just like kind of thinking over what just happened. Oh my God,
it's insane.
You can see the shock in his face. You can see how he's just absolutely flabbergasted that he came that close to death. And yet he went back out and got 5th place. Yep. So pretty nuts. We're beyond grateful that nothing happened to either one of the Yamaha riders. It's truly a miracle. But the real question is, did Zarco do anything wrong?
You can see it right here.
Right?
All
so
he
let's
did
take a
was pull
look,
out
right?
a draft, and you're going 200 miles an hour. He's going to go wider than normal.
Yeah.
Yes, he probably shouldn't have made that move anyways, as his bike pierces through an air fence.
Literally. But at the same time, you got to wonder, why did he cut over to the right? Right?
You're going 200 miles an hour, and you came at a completely different angle. You can't just turn these things on a dime.
You definitely can't, yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong, but he did it at the wrong time. It shouldn't have been done when it happened.
Yeah.
But since he did and made that move, you can't second guess yourself. You have to commit to the move you made.
Yeah, I think, Zarco lately, especially with his other incident at the other event, I think he's on thin ice with a lot of riders right now, and a lot of people are like, why are you fucking up so
exactly.
much, right?
Why are you putting your bike where you don't need to put it in the times that you don't need to put it in?
Exactly.
I understand why people are mad. I completely understand.
Yeah.
And it is probably, if you had to pin it on someone, more Zarco's fault than anybody else. But
definitely,
it's a racing incident.
It is. I agree. Yeah, I mean, it is racing, and these things do happen.
At the end of the day, the racing goes, if you're in front, the person behind has to pass safely.
Yeah.
He had already passed and made a complete pass. Mm-hmm. Morbidelli was the one that crashed.
Yep.
No fault of Morbidelli's, no fault of Zarco's. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Here's another question for you. Do you think that Red Bull Ring is too dangerous for motorcycling?
No. The fact that any of that ever came up is... It shouldn't have. No track is going to be perfectly safe. You forget these bikes are going at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
How much runoff room do you want? How much room do you need?
For 200 miles per hour, you need a whole lot more than that. But it's impossible to, You see
Zarco's bike, didn't he barely slow down? It just skimped right across the gravel.
Did, yeah. No, it literally was, it stayed upright for a lot of that time, too.
So what distance do you need? Yeah. FIM has its rules and sanctions, and this track met every single one of them.
That is true.
But the areas that it didn't, you'll see they have air fins.
Yeah.
Man, that wall was 5 feet too close. We're going to put an air fence.
Yeah.
That's how the rules are stated. If it's not within this spec, we can do this to mitigate it, or we're not racing here.
Yeah.
And they chose to mitigate it.
Yeah.
But that wall is not even what caused the problem. It's
No. I mean, it was the enormously fast speeds, and like you said, it's a racing incident. It happens. I do think that this track specifically, with this straightaway leading into this right hand that's almost backing into itself, you're asking for incidents, right? I mean, it's a difficult position on this track to have an incident, right? Like anything that goes wrong here, like you said, 200 miles per hour, it's going to be nasty.
Yeah.
It's going to be nasty.
Absolutely. And especially when you go in, let's say best case scenario, you run wide, you still have the threat of running into someone, especially when you're going into the draft. You get sucked in.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, that's what happened. You saw that. I mean, the vacuum that was created whenever he got in here, I mean, that was nuts, right?
Yeah, and Zarco adjusted for the draft. Morbidelli didn't have time to.
Yeah.
Zarco broke earlier than he normally did
Yeah.
to adjust for the speed that he was carrying, the extra speed that he was carrying.
Yeah.
And Morbidelli didn't. There's faults everywhere, but it can happen on any track. Look at, Mugello, when they come up over the hill to the left.
Yeah.
It's still a right. That comes back on itself just like that. And
that honestly, that is a good point. Mugello, literally, I mean, that's 320 kph they hit there, and then onto it's like down fucking 90 gears to the next right-hander, right?
Carrying more speed, and no one's had this problem then. If this same crash happened there, people would be worried about that track too.
That's true, yeah. So again, we're super glad that all the Yamaha riders are safe and that no serious injuries happened. But honestly, like that wasn't even, I mean, it was the highlight of the race, but so much other shit happened in this race. Yeah. What was one of your takeaway moments for this?
Paul Espargaro needs to calm down. I've been rooting for the KTMs a lot in that because I think their package, especially after Yamaha's motor problems that they're having, if they don't get that fixed like they need to, I think KTM and Suzuki's are the best all-around package. And I think KTM just edges out Suzuki because they have more horsepower.
The KTM is looking ridiculous right now. You could tell on the way that Brad Binder came in off that one, he was just like, my bike was feeling so good. He's like, my bike feels so good. You don't see those reactions that often from someone being like, the bike just felt so good.
It stunned him.
Yeah, he was just like, I couldn't believe what I could do with that thing.
Normally you're like, oh yeah, the bike felt great. It was 80-90% of where I wanted it to be because it's never going to be 100%.
No.
And even he was like, this was almost 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, again, from this race, 17th to 4th place from Brad Binder. That's pretty amazing. From a restart, too. But again, to your point, Pole, he was leading the race looking so good, and then a horrible incident happens. Have to restart, come back in the race, falls down to 4th place, 5th place, has an incident, crashes out. Miserable result, right? Like to be the race leader to then crash out on the restart, that's a miserable result.
Well, you could say the same thing about Rins.
Rins was, you got,
0.3 seconds
God.
and crashed.
Well, he literally made the pass into first and then wiped out.
And he had a warning the same time the last lap.
I think he made a critical mistake, but he also has a shoulder injury, right? So, I mean, that's amazing that he was doing that injured,
Yeah, it is amazing. And I don't want to come back from injury again. It sucks.
You snapped your femur a couple times, right?
I'd rather wait till I'm fully healed again. But
dude, Marquez, this is the season, bro. He's got it. He's gonna be fine. Dude, Marquez is gonna be back, bro.
Nobody likes you.
Yeah, I don't believe that myself. Yeah. And then again, going back to it from the stories of this race, Vinales, pole position, finishes 12th. We've seen that so many times from him where he's just inconsistent. Quartararo finishing 8th, right? Basically ceding his championship. Brad Binder, 4th place.
Dovizioso are qualifying, 8th, 9th, or something like that?
And somehow wins it. Yeah, it's literally a crazy-ass race, honestly. And just adding every week to this season that we're seeing here with a shortened schedule. It is so wild what's happening in GP right now. And if you guys are not keeping up on GP, you're doing yourself a massive disservice because it's literally some of the most exciting racing I've ever seen in any season of GP. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's just GP because there's still Moto 3 and Moto 2.
Moto 2 has had an insane incident on track where Enea, what's his last name? Enea Bastianini, yeah. Had that incident, high-sided bike in the middle of the track. Guy comes out, doesn't see it, smashes right into it.
Half-face siren smashes into the bike. And I think that was a worse crash than this because there was 5-6 people tied up.
No, that was way worse.
And this one made the headlines.
Yeah. GP always makes the headlines.
Big speed, big crash.
Yeah.
It was an insane Moto 2 crash, I think.
No, really, really nasty. And we're also praying that he does improve and recover as well. But, I mean, we're going to be back again this Sunday at GP here at Red Bull Ring and fucking see what happens, right? Like, I mean, every week it's getting crazier.
It's not going to finish the same as it did this week.
Nope.
Not at all.
I think championship points are about to get shuffled up a lot. I think we're going to see a new number one right now, right?
Yep.
We're going to see.
And like we were talking about off camera, if KTM can do it, they need to win. But if they can't win, they need to finish fourth.
Yeah.
Because if they can stay unconsolidated as long as possible, that's going to help them in the grand scheme for a championship.
I agree. Yeah, which is weird because you say, like, to Brad Binder, it's like either win or come in fourth.
Yep.
don't go for podiums, bro.
That's the best you can do. Please don't do anything more than that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, keeping up with GP here, it's literally crazy what's happening, and I'm sure next week I'm gonna have more to talk about or think about. But with that, let's move into the Harley bit of news, as Spite has been quiet this whole time. Nothing to add to the GP conversation.
I feel like I'm just sitting here learning from you guys.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I wouldn't have anything intelligent to say beyond they go fast and make big noise. But here's where I actually have a lot to say, and this is a speculative piece here on motorcycle.com that the Harley-Davidson Bronx Street Fighter may be biting the dust, as we see here, this one getting Thanos snapped away.
I know.
And
so short-lived.
The theory here is that they are spending 2021 devoting it to the Pan America.
Okay.
Which is their ADV bike, which personally I believe is a mistake. We can get into that a little bit later.
That's another story.
Yeah, it's a whole other situation. But as a result, the Harley-Davidson Bronx has been quietly pulled from the back end on the website. It's no longer in the future bikes section.
Oh, man.
It's really hard to find, official stuff talking about the Bronx. Jochen Zeitz has not put anything down about the Bronx. He's not said a word about it.
He's the new CEO.
He's the
right?
new CEO.
Yeah, not the new CEO. Okay. Yeah. It's hard to keep up with Harley these days.
Yeah, they've got, like I said earlier, they're the Harley Davidson of companies.
I love that.
It's a Harley.
And so they're trying to focus really hard on the Pan America. I think that is a mistake. And the reason why I think that's a mistake is because if you're going to build an adventure bike, you're playing in the world of the R1250 GS here. This is the premium adventure bike dentist mobile. Harley-Davidson doesn't have that in there. None of the leather daddies are going to appreciate the Pan America.
No.
None of the BMW guys are going to appreciate the Pan America.
No.
None of the dentists are going to buy it because they're either going to buy the Trike, the CVO Road Glide, or they're going to buy the BMW R1250 GS.
And we all know KTM adventure riders are way too big of simps to switch to anything else.
Yeah, no, once you go orange, you never go back.
Yeah, look at this guy. You stay orange, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I honestly, of the two bikes they could have picked to support, the Pan America was the mistake. Because nobody, if our audience is any kind of indication, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but they don't really care about adventure bikes too much.
Yeah. It's a very specific market that cares about those bikes.
Yeah, and that's a small market.
Yeah. New riders don't give a shit about adventure bikes.
They don't even know about them. Really.
They don't even know what they are, yeah.
And sport bikes, the idea of a sport naked bike, that's a huge market.
Massively appealing, I think.
And if they could really, it's a 975, they had claimed about 115 horsepower with a good V-twin amount of torque. That could have been a really good motorcycle.
It was going to cost too much, but
it was going to cost too much because it was going to be Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
But maybe they could have gotten around that somehow, put it in the right kind of price point.
Yeah.
We had no idea what it was going to be.
This could have been
at.
a Ducati Monster competitor, right? This could have been a 790, 890 competitor, right? This could have been a Street Triple competitor.
Yep,
but
it would have played in the middleweight category.
That's a tough market to get into. I mean, middleweights are highly competitive, right? And so maybe Harley was like, do we really have any business going in there? Like, can we do it? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I think just to shake it up, they should have.
Yeah.
Because I think they have more potential to break into sport bikes than they do into ADV bikes. Harley Davidson has no business being off-road at all. They used to make these awesome dirt bikes
Like
back in the day.
50 years ago. Half a century ago.
And now they've completely forgotten that part of them. But they've slowly started building in some more sport-oriented machines, like the Street Rod, the V-Rod even. I
mean, it's sad, but you think about Harley being off-road. I mean, that was before dirt bikes even had monoshocks, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's how long ago we're talking. They were, 2 shocks in the back, basically like a street bike with a little bit of concessions made for off-road. It was before anyone even knew how to build an off-road bike.
That was the scrambler times.
It was, yeah, which sucks because it seems like if Harley had kept up with that, maybe we would have seen, competitors to KTM dirt bikes from Harley. That would have been super cool to see, but they chose, like we've talked so many times, they chose to go after that individualistic, cruisery, American-made thing for forever, right?
And that they shot themselves in the foot.
I think so. But this was their I think last chance at redemption.
It was the way out.
It was the way out. Yeah.
They could have made a really interesting, and it looks cool.
It's a cool looking bike.
It looks chunky. It looks very chunky.
I saw one in person at EICMA.
Yeah.
It was a cool bike.
This is of all the motorcycles that are coming out potentially or exist in some sort of, development limbo, this is the one I want to ride the most.
Yeah.
Because
I would have happily picked one of these up for a giveaway bike.
Yes. This is so interesting to me. The Revolution Max engine is the evolution of the V-Rod engine. It was Revolution, Rev X, Rev Max.
Yeah.
This is the descendant, the sport bike descendant of the V-Rod. And
I mean, look at that swing arm.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks like a proper sport going motorcycle. It doesn't look like a traditional Harley, right?
Except it's got a fan belt on the back.
That doesn't make any goddamn
sense. They done goofed there.
I can't believe they didn't put a chain on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's
weight. They gotta save weight.
Gotta save weight.
Harley Davidson worrying about saving weight. Yeah, not likely.
Yeah.
But this is really a shame, and there's no confirmation one way or the other that this has officially been the death knell of the Bronx.
Yeah.
But currently, it's not anywhere to be seen. But you can still find this, which is this is a sport concept motorcycle that they're working on. That I believe, I could be wrong, is a 1275 V4.
No.
I think it's a 1275 V4. And this thing is going to be, it's like the Fat Bob and the V-Rod got together.
Well, this is a V-Max, basically, at this point.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But it's got forward pegs, and they claim it was going to be some sort of sporting motorcycle.
Look at that seat.
Yeah.
That's flat and long.
Yeah. That's long, flat.
I mean, just...
Oh, wow, that's a high-res photo. Holy shit.
Loads of comfort there.
Look at how chunky that engine is there. I mean, that's a big old boy.
So we're talking about 900 pounds now?
Yeah, probably.
But
this is another bike that, the future of it is a little hard to tell. I mean, it also only has a single disc up front.
Yikes. Also, look how fat the front tire is. Mm-hmm. You're looking at like a fucking 70 sidewall there. What the hell's going on?
That thing looks like it's the rear tire off the R1.
Oh, my God.
How many car jacks do you have to use to get that thing off?
Oh, at least 4. At least 4 car jacks.
Just get the forklift in here.
Yeah, get that forklift, get it up there. I mean, I think just from hanging out with you so much, I do have I wouldn't say a soft spot for Harley, but just like I want them to succeed just because it's America's motorcycle. But at the same time, they just keep doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're going to keep doing dumb shit, don't be surprised when you end up as like a super small niche manufacturer.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
They need to make a motorcycle that anyone wants to buy.
Yes.
And they aren't doing that anymore.
Yeah. We'll see how they do in the adventure market. Again, it's, like you said, really competitive. There are super technologically advanced and interesting motorcycles in that market. I don't foresee them doing well.
No, not at all. It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, it's going to be really bad. Brandon, you've never ridden a Harley, right?
No.
Yeah, they're interesting bikes. You know, they're interesting.
That's all you could say.
Yeah, that is all I could say. Would I own one? No, I wouldn't. But it's an interesting riding experience. And with that bit of news, we're now going to open it up to our call-in section for our podcast. All right, everybody, we're now doing the call-in section of our podcast. If you want the chance to call in, go to yammie.co, sign up, become a member, and join our Discord server. It's a great time. Now let's get into it.
That one went a lot faster, a little bit better.
A little smoother, yeah. Again, I feel like an electrified corpse, so I'm not on my A game today.
I'm on rails.
Moto Fan, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going, dude?
Not bad, man. How you doing?
Doing good. You're joined here with it's me, Spite, and Brandon Altmeyer. What can we do for you?
I actually had a question for Brandon this week.
Jesus Christ. First call and he already has a... Okay, he's stealing the show. All right, let's hear it.
God damn it.
Okay, Brandon. So, I don't remember. It was probably, somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks ago that Yam did a track day video with you. You said something about when you were, like, a lot younger. I'm guessing probably, like, early teenage years. Some random dude told you to go ride his RC8. I'm already assuming that Yam knows exactly where I'm going with this. But if you ever had the opportunity again, would you give that bike a second chance?
The RC8 you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. After riding the R1 and getting, I guess, the nerves out of the way, you could say.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to, because I don't like riding with traction control anyways, and that is the most analog bike you can get that is still competitive and has track records to this day.
It's pretty insane, actually, yeah.
I would actually love to ride one. I just don't know anyone that has one anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just asking.
Yeah, so to give you context, MotoFan actually last year invited me out to Road Atlanta, and I did a day, and he's got an RC8R, and he's got a ZX6 and a Ducati Supersport, and he had brought all those 3 bikes out, so I was testing them out. The RC8's a very good bike. It's biblical. It's so awesome. It's just this powerhouse of torque, and it just flicks in so fast. It's
Especially
a great
at
bike.
Road Atlanta. I love Road Atlanta.
Dude, such a fun track. It's easy to ride. It's intuitive, you know? You just
It is.
get into it.
On that back straight, you must have pooped.
Oh, man, I did, yeah. I looked down. I was doing like a $155. I was like, wow, this is fast. Yeah. How's your RC8 been treating you, MotoFan?
So far it's been good. Just had a minor electrical gremlin in the last month or two where, like, it wanted to start, but then it wouldn't. Like, you know when you turn it over, like, the starter motor engages and then it turns over and it coughs for, like, 2 revolutions, and then the starter motor keeps going, but then there's no sound of, like, combustion gases coming out through the exhaust. It's just like it's pumping air. So I brought it into a local motorcycle shop, and they're going through and checking everything. It's possible that the fuel filter got clogged, which would make a whole lot of sense. But I'm just having them go through absolutely everything because I don't want to, miss one thing or another.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hope you get that sorted, and if you're ever somehow linking up with us again, I know that Brandon would love to take a rip on the RC8R if that's on the table.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you, informed and make sure to let him know because I feel like it'd be a lot better the second time around.
Yeah, fair warning, Brandon does ride whatever bike he's on with complete wanton disregard and will just yeet it into the great beyond. You almost yeeted my R1, so
No.
Yeah, no, you did, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I remember on video, you're just like, let's see what this thing can do, and you started railing on it, so.
Fucking go.
Yeah. All right, man, we'll catch you on the Discord.
Okay, all right, take care, y'all.
Later.
I would never do that.
First question already for you. Can you believe it? That is absolutely ridiculous. Also, a KTM with an electrical problem. I can't imagine that happening.
Couldn't imagine
Couldn't
why.
imagine.
Let alone a motor issue.
Zach from California, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
How's it going, Yammie? I called you guys actually a few weeks ago. I think it was episode 12. It was a while back.
Okay. Is this a follow-up from that? I may not remember.
Yeah. So I was the guy that asked about getting a Gixxer 1000 as my second bike because of power modes and all that fun stuff that it had. So that ended up getting sold out before I could even see it. So
Oh, damn.
I ended up getting a CBR 600 F4i.
Okay.
And I fucking hate it.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's a Honda.
And it's not that I hate it because it's a bad bike. It's a great bike. I found a really clean model for it being such an old one. That 4i that I had is like a 02.
Yeah.
But it's fucking terrible riding that thing around all day. So now I'm like back to square one, and I'm actually looking at the Z900 and MT-09. Of those two, which one would you guys get?
Man. I'll let Spite take that first one. Which one would you take over the Z900 or the MT-09?
Well,
You haven't ridden either one of them.
I haven't ridden either one of them. However, I have an affinity for inline four naked bikes. And the Z900 actually has a lot of technology in it. Kawasaki put a lot of thought and effort into that bike. And the MT-09 relatively is kind of a dinosaur. However, it's a goddamn unicycle. So if you want to have a lot of fun and never replace your front tire, the MT-09 is a great choice.
Yep. Brandon, which one would you pick?
I'd probably pick, because you mentioned riding modes and everything like that, I'd probably pick the Z900. But it is Kawasaki, and they're not known for having great electrical things.
Yeah.
Also, another bad gremlin of the Kawasaki's would be the transmissions. They're not fantastic. They've been trying to work on them the last decade or so, but they just haven't quite gotten them right.
Yeah.
They're finicky. If they're not finicky, then they just break.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with either one of those problems, go for the Z900. But if you don't want to deal with those problems and have a good, reliable bike that is, a little older, but it is proven, the MT-09 would definitely be the way to go.
I think I am on Team MT-09 as well. I used to own one of those, and I had the first gen. And I know the second gen, they fixed a lot of problems I had with the first gen in terms of it literally felt like a pogo stick when it was mid-corner. Very frightening. It literally felt like an old-school muscle car. That's the kind of characteristic it had. It's a super fun bike. It's got ass loads of torque. It would power wheelie in third gear, no problem. It's a real kind of a monster of a bike. It'll feel a lot faster than the Z900, even though it isn't, just because of the way it makes that torque. It's a really fun motorcycle, but I really encourage you to ride both of them because I know they sit really different. The MT-09 is that kind of, I think we talked about it, it's like this motard roadster stance. It's very, very upright. So if you're not comfortable on the F4i and you want something super comfortable, MT-09 is really nice. And it does have rider modes, they just don't really work all that great. Yeah.
That's the fun of technology, isn't it? It doesn't always work the way you expect it to.
Absolutely. But bummer on the F4i, man. That sucks that you got a bike and you just hate it. I've barely ever heard about that happening with anyone. They buy a bike and like, fuck, this sucks, you know?
I have seen that before.
Yeah?
Yeah, I bought it, and the first couple weeks after I got it, I think that Yamcast that I called into was like on a Thursday or Wednesday like this one, and then I bought it on Friday. I rode it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I rode it to the coast. I live in California, so rode it to the coast and back. And after that, I was like, "Fuck this!" I really haven't ridden it.
Yeah, that was my experience when I first rode the Sportster. I was just like, "Fuck this motorcycle, never again." It's not so bad now, but it was pretty terrible the first time.
But with that being said, I do really appreciate it for its cornering ability. And last time I kind of touched on like getting into track days.
Yeah.
Because I have that 300 that I had totaled, and I still have that to this day. It's just sitting there. I turn it on every once in a while to make sure that it still runs, but that's about it. And now I have this thing where my mom actually wants to start riding again. She used to ride in like the 80s and 90s. She had a really bad crash and never got back on the saddle. And now that I'm riding, she wants to with me. And so I was considering giving her that 300 and then keeping the 600 for track days because it doesn't need much work. It's in great mechanical condition.
Yeah.
It's got really good tires, all that fun stuff, and using that for track days, should I still keep the 300 for the track days, or is it going to be fine just hopping in on a 6?
Yeah, my gut says to keep that 300 for track days just because a little bike is so cheap to run and they're so easy to learn on, and I recommend everyone starting a little bike to really get into it and learn on it. Also, the F4i, if I remember correctly, is not the super sport Honda. It's sort of like their more upright, more traditional kind of 600 that they made. So it's actually, if I remember correctly, has like right side up non-adjustable forks and is not super well suited for like track duty and kind of racing stuff. You'd have to do a lot of work to get it to be really...
With mine.
Is it not? Okay.
I purchased mine modified, and it was the
guy that I bought it from. It was his track bike. So we were
okay.
The front suspension was show upside down forward.
It's a sporty one.
He put clip-ons and Vortex rear set, so it fits
Awesome. Okay.
like a CBR 600 double R would.
Okay, great. Then it's already really set up, ready to go. I would still say keep the 300 to do track days on. But Brandon, what would you think?
I'm always going to lean towards having a small bike.
Yeah.
Always keep it. Shown you multiple times.
Yeah.
But it's worth
Much to my
have.
chagrin. Yeah. Yep.
It's much worth it to have a 300. It teaches you everything. Even at the pro levels, they ride small bikes whenever they can. So
If you can, I'd say keep both. That'd be good. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling. We're going to see if anyone else wants to call in.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
All right, later. Yeah, I keep telling you to not ride the 400 when I'm on track, so I look better, please, Brandon. Thanks, appreciate it.
I'll work on that for you. I'm just waiting for you to have a GoPro on your tramp so I can make it extra theatrical or something.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mobius, our newly minted Triumph boy, how's it going?
Oh, it's fantastic. Another day in paradise. How you guys?
What can we do for you?
So, would you guys rather have the buying story on this thing that's kind of interesting, or you want a question?
Give me the story.
Okay. So I mentioned last week, it was a bit of a drive, about 5 hours away from me. Met up with a friend of mine that runs a self-service shop, who I paid to trailer the bike. Right as soon as we took off, he told me that he meant to grab a couple more ratchet straps from the shop. I think we were just getting on the highway. That case actually came into play a little bit later, but drive goes fine. South Louisiana, so we're pretty much talking about the food the whole way. Pulled over by a state trooper 15 minutes away, and apparently forgot to mention his concealed carry in the door. Dude just ninja'd it onto the hood of the truck. Neither of us noticed.
Wow.
Fun times. But I get there, it's been cleaned up, do some, shrewd negotiations. He's got a little bit of tear in his eye. He was in love with this bike, and actually kind of hated to see it go, wanted to move on though. I don't think I mentioned this last week, but he also has a Monster 1100, and the reason why I was so confident in his mechanical skills is because he had just done his Desmo adjustment on the Monster.
Oh boy, yeah.
Which I thought that was fantastic because he just evolved on the Triumph.
Yeah.
So we got the bike loaded up. I ended up paying $3,300 for it, which was a steal for the bike practically needing nothing.
Yeah.
Which I'll go ahead and throw a picture of it on the trailer just for a little bit of context. That's what we had to work with for ratchet straps.
Yeah, I saw this photo earlier on the Discord, and that is one of the lowest mounting points I've ever seen for ratchet strap. Is it not wibbly? Was it not slow? That looks really not good.
I was a little worried, but this guy's been buying bikes for decades at this point. Them, and it didn't really move. I think we only had to adjust it once on the entire 5-hour trip back up, with one exception. So Bossier City is absolutely atrocious with their highways. I'm pretty sure that I've seen Chernobyl streets that are better paved than this.
Wow.
We just got into Bossier City, hit the first couple of bumps on I-20, and all of a sudden I noticed the steering take a hard left on the bike. We immediately pulled over, and the front strap had actually snapped on us.
Oh, yikes.
Now remember, he said that he meant to bring more ratchet straps with him. He had a spare strap. We tried to throw that one on there. Ended up snapping as soon as we tried to tighten it down.
This dude seems sketchy as fuck when it comes to strapping, but maybe he thinks that ratchet straps like disposable items, and he uses them every time. He's like, oh yeah, you just one and done, bro. Bring it out to the end, it just gets spent. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was. I was terrified. Something was gonna happen to this because it was as it was almost perfect for how I'd want to set up the bike.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the bike didn't go down, but I hadn't actually gotten a chance to test ride it because when he backed the truck into the guy's driveway, it took up the entire driveway. So I was joking with him. I was like, well, I mean, I guess it's not like I could just ride the bike home. And he was like, well, I mean, why not? I was like, I thought I'd give it a thought. I was like, I don't know what the throttle response is going to be like, but at this point, it's either wait at least an hour for someone to come along with a spare strap, or take the gear in the back of the truck and just yeet the throttle and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle. It'll run. It'll work like anything else. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I heard it. I started it up and made sure that it was running smooth, before I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
So I geared up. I took it on the road. I must have disappeared on that thing because it's surprisingly manageable to ride at lower speeds and pedal around town. But you whip that throttle and you're going. And
Yep.
that was a fantastic feeling. I actually ended up overshooting the exit for the shop because I was going to take it in there to grab all the parts. He had all the factory parts that he had replaced, along with a 765 or a Daytona rear shock,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of the other fancy options.
Sweet. So you having fun with it? You liking it?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it.
Another Triumph boy converted.
I'm going to throw up the other picture just, for the stream. But a couple hours later, took the tail bag off because I kept kicking it, trying to get my leg over it.
Yeah.
I flipped the mirrors to the inside and put one of the windscreens on it. But my God, I won't say that you converted me because this was the engine that I fell in love with. Riding or getting to know bikes and watching videos. But
Yeah.
you may have converted me into a Triumph simp because this thing
Oh, yeah.
is, I don't know if I can, it'll be hard to find another bike to put in the stable that's just as good.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon's having to hold himself back by not ripping into you, but he doesn't like Triumphs too much. But I understand you, dude. I know the simpery that happens with the 3 sills. It's a safe place here. It's okay. I get it. Well, have fun with it, man. I appreciate you calling in. If you do any cool mods to it, keep us on the Discord, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
All right, man. See ya. Hey, what's going on? You're on the Yamcast.
Hey guys, how you doing this afternoon?
Good.
Doing good.
What can we do for you?
So I got a question for you. Just started riding this year. Bought myself a 1984 Honda Nighthawk.
Wow.
Loving it. It was a project bike. Kind of wanted something to work on, but I kind of had a question. I guess, how long was it before you guys kind of decided to maybe get another bike or a second one? I know I just started riding, so maybe a year or two, but I kind of was curious at how you guys decided to start looking for something else.
Spite, how did you decide that it was time, or you started thinking about the second one?
I started thinking about my second one. So I bought my street rod in April of 2017, I believe. And I had the 919 in July. So
Like 4 months?
yeah.
Wow.
So I had decided to buy the 919 very quickly.
Yeah. I can't say I did too much better, honestly. I bought the R3 in June of 2015, and I think by September of 2015, I got the Daytona. So I think similar time frame, about 3 or 4 months, and I was already just like, I need another one. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I kind of wish I'd waited a little longer, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was quite ready yet for the Daytona. I made it work, but I should have waited a little bit more.
In my case, I had that break between Street 750 and Street Rod,
Yeah,
where I was
that's
off
true.
the bike for about 9 months to a year.
Yeah.
But I ridden the Street 750 for like 3 months and the Street Rod for another 3, so I was like 6 months.
Yeah. So don't feel too bad if you're thinking about getting another bike very soon, because I think it's pretty common, honestly. But I do recommend, if you're going to jump up to something with super big power, maybe take a little bit more time. But if you're going to get something that has similar power, a little bit more, I'd say go for it whenever you want.
Yeah, it's a 650, so...
Oh, you'll be fine. Yeah.
I bought it before I watched all the videos of you guys talking about, don't start on a 650 or something higher than that. But it was kind of an impromptu buy because my roommate has a couple bikes and he's been bugging me about it. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll buy it. Why not? Let's go.
Yeah.
I regretted it since, so yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I guess then the other thing is, like, I've been thinking a lot about it. It's a project bike and it's running, but, should I invest a little more in that then and keep it running and maybe look a little prettier, or should I start thinking about something different? I guess it kind of depends on what I'm feeling, but what's like too much to spend on a bike to fix it up before I should maybe consider buying another one.
Well, I mean, that's a personal call, in my opinion. It kind of depends on what you want to do with bikes. Like, if you like the feeling of wrenching and building your own thing and doing your own thing, then you're never going to get that from a newer bike. Me, personally, I like having bikes that just work and they just run, and I don't like doing a whole lot to them. As Brandon knows, that I take my bike to the shop to get the very basics done to it because I'm so lazy. Spite, what do you think?
I think that as long as you're spending more time riding than you are wrenching, it's fine.
Yep.
At the point where also you don't want to spend money on your first bike. Get your exhaust, get a few mods here and there, but don't spend a lot of money on that first bike. Just invest a little bit to make it yours, and then no more. If your bike was like my DRZ, that was a whole disaster. I've spent way too much money on that DRZ.
And time.
And have I gotten it back? Kind of, sort of, not really though, So you really got to balance how much time you're and energy you're willing to put into it, knowing that it's probably not the bike that you're going to keep forever,
Yeah, it was definitely that way. I spent I bought it a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, spent about a month working on it, and then I've been riding it for a few months now, and I love it, but, it's a little older, it's a little clunky. I mean, I love it, but I'm kind of on the fence about, do I want another bike like that? That's a little bit of work, because I love learning stuff like that, and it keeps me busy, keeps me working with my hands, but at the same time, I watched that video about the classic bikes that you posted a couple days ago or whatever, and I was like, oh, man, those look real nice.
Yeah, lots of good options in that video for sure. Yeah.
Naked bike, cruiser kind of mixed style. That I love those kind of bikes. So, probably get some off that list.
No matter what you do not buy another carbureted motorcycle.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. Oh God, no. I spent the first half of that month I was working on it just messing with That was a pain in the ass. I had to take it apart. I had to take the carbs off. Man, that was. I'm glad I did it, and I learned how to work on the bike, and if something goes wrong, I'm at least comfortable with it. But that was a pain in the ass, taking that thing apart, and then I took the clutch basket apart, the whole clutch apart a couple times, and replaced that whole thing. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I had it, but I'm kind of at the point where I don't want to spend too much more time working on it.
I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. The Yammie Noob corporate opinion is that carbs are antiquated and we have moved on and we don't need them anymore.
Yep.
Put them all in the trash. We're done. We've done. We've evolved.
Yep.
It's over. Yeah. Well, whatever you end up doing, let us know in the Discord. I'd love to see your next option for what bike you get, or if you end up fixing up the Nighthawk a little bit more. And thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, later. Carbs can go suck a fat dick.
Yes, they really can. Carbs can die in a fire.
They're over. Alrighty, guys, this is going to wrap up the call-in portion of our podcast. If you were listening to our podcast on audio, feel free to tune in on YouTube, and you can check out the submissions for our contest, which we will now do. But if not, we'll catch you on the next one. And now, Spite, let's go over to the contest portion.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, guys, we're now doing our contest portion, and this week we had everyone on our Discord server, if they wanted to join up, do Busa-related memes. We wanted to see our finest Hayabusa-related memes. Anything goes. Let's see what they came up with. On the docket today for prizes is a first-place prize only of a $100 Revzilla gift card. So let's see who's going to take it.
Yep, we have a slightly fewer number. We've got 6 submitted this week, and our first one comes to us from Ford AS, I'm not sure.
So we have here a little comic strip, and it says, wait, before we go any further. And it's a Grom undressing itself. And then it reveals to be a Busa. And what does it say there? The fourth panel?
This is me, and then the last one says, you're a beginner bike.
Wow. What a strange format. This is definitely a rare Busa meme. I've never seen this one before.
Yeah, this one's off the wall.
That is really absurd, and I like it. Love it for that reason.
So our criteria, again, is going to be quality, creativity, and funniness.
Okay.
So how do you feel quality-wise? It's kind of just a couple of PNGs slapped onto a...
It is, but if you look, he got the perspective correct on the last one. So it's a rear-facing Busa towards him, so he didn't completely phone it in.
Yep.
And the Grom is kind of shifting around here and there. So I'll give it a 7 for quality. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Creativity.
I've never seen this format before.
Me neither. This is the first time I've seen this one.
Yeah, maybe I'm not up to date on the memes, but I've never seen this format. So I think for creativity, let's give it how about an 8? What are you feeling?
8. All right. Starting out strong.
Yeah.
Funniness.
I think a 7. I think a 7's pretty good.
Yeah, got a chuckle out of us.
Pretty solid chuckle.
7. Starts off with 22 out of 30.
22. I love how on news under GP you have how to commit
die.
Just noticed that. All right, let's see entry number 2 here.
Entry number 2 comes to us from Romo Baru. Not sure how to pronounce some of these names, but it is new classic meme format.
This meme is popular everywhere, man. I've seen this all over the place with these 2 astronauts. I don't know where it came from or why it exists, but it's very useful, I think, as a meme format.
Yeah, I'm starting to get sick of seeing it, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, it needs to be framed as a question, right? So he should have been saying, like, oh, the Stretch Boost is the best beginner bike, and then he goes, always has been, you know?
Yep.
So I think it kind of fell apart with there. So let's go ahead and rate this one.
Quality. So that's where the quality's a little...
Quality's a little low. I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Creativity.
It's a well-known meme format.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen this one a lot, and...
Not exactly reinventing the wheel.
I
think a 5. This is kind of middle of the road.
Feel fair? Yeah.
I can see that.
Because around here, 5 is not... 5 is like literally just absolute tip of the bell.
Yes.
You know. So funniness.
I'd say a 5.
Yeah.
You know, I chuckled. Didn't give a hearty belly laugh, but I thought it was pretty funny.
All right. So that one's a little lower at 14.
All right.
So our next one comes to us from Ty Dubs. And I believe it's the Hayabusa's final form.
Agreed.
It's true. Yeah. Can't loop your Busa if there's only one wheel. So the Unibusa here, looking quite quality. Every time I look at the silhouette of the Busa, I cannot believe they made a motorcycle that looks like that.
It's literally just designed for speed.
Yeah.
Straight line speed and nothing else.
It's just so
And it's
ugly.
not even the fastest thing anymore.
No,
No.
it's not. But it was at one point.
It's
Brandon.
the pinnacle of
It
90s
was.
technology.
Exactly. Yeah. Quality. It looks like a custom Photoshop job, right? I mean, it looks like he did it himself. It's pretty good.
Clean lines.
Yeah,
Yep.
it looks pretty clean. Maybe a 7 there for quality.
7, yeah. Creativity. The Unibusa.
The Unibusa, right?
Yeah.
All right. 7?
7.
Yeah.
Funniness.
Yeah. I think a 6.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny and kind of curious looking, but it didn't get like a good chuckle out of me, you know?
Yep. 6. So that'll be a 20
20
for Ty Dubs. And then German A2 Boy actually submitted a video, our only video entry this week.
I already know where this is going.
Yep.
This is from the Busa on Track video, by the way, Brandon, the one you haven't seen. Wow. Here we go.
Yes.
Incredible. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. That was really good.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. It's gonna be hard to top that one.
Yep.
All right, quality. That's a 9, dude.
That's a 9.
That's a 9 for sure. Now, creativity. I mean, it's a well-known meme, right?
Yes.
But there were elements in there that were kind of unique and different.
I like how he pulled the shot of you with the ball shaver.
Yes, that was pretty good. Just smiling in the galaxy. Let's give it an 8 for creativity.
I think an 8 for creativity. Yeah.
I think funniness is a 9 as well. I got a good chuckle out of me.
Yeah, that was very funny.
26, our new leader.
However, German A2 boy did win a prize last week.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So while he did submit, he is unfortunately not allowed to win this week.
Well, bummer. So that'll be for second place then that will win since he already won.
Yep.
What's our cooldown time again?
Our cooldown time is like 3 months.
Okay.
Really?
That's pretty long. Maybe we could shorten that. We'll play with it. But yeah, since he did very recently win, so if he
literally
does
last week
win here, we will just we'll sing his praises publicly.
Yep.
And then award for number 2.
And then our next one comes to us from Just Playin', which is a little bit of a flow chart here. There's a lot going on.
Holy
and it's
moly.
kind of small, so
It's the Busa chart.
The Busa chart. Now, what does it say in the purple section up there at the top?
There's a lot going on.
This chart is for reference and educational purposes only. Actual bike might differ in appearance in person. Be advised.
Wow. Okay.
So it starts off.
You're not on your mic.
Yeah, I know. I can't.
Yeah, you can't read it.
because it's really small.
Okay, so it says beginner, the noob, made with stick parts. No major change in
Stock
appearance.
parts.
Oh, stock parts. Stick parts doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
May include minor changes to the stickers or lights.
So this is the Noob Busa owner.
Yeah, which is, I love that my boost is there.
So our next step is the intermediate Busa boy in training. Has a turbo kit.
Uh-huh.
May see one major change in appearance, such as custom paint or stretched swing arm.
Exception may also apply in lower displacement jigsters.
Which we have one right here.
Yep.
All right, so our next step.
It always makes me really, as a side note, makes me so sad when I see just like a nice jigster that's been Busa boyed out. I'm
Yes.
like, that was a decent bike, you know?
And
That was
you
a good
destroyed
track
it.
bike, and now it's done.
Now we have the expert Busa
Whoa,
boy.
that is powerful.
You will recognize his presence.
Has a turbo kit. Major changes in appearance and performance. Has more man balls than anyone. What is speed? I am speed.
100% true.
This kid can't touch me. LOL. Those are some high level boosters there, I gotta admit. Yeah.
Those are some chunky Busas right there.
Oh, these are gonna be great. Unknown shit bike.
Yup. The Busa wannabe.
Wow.
Modification's gone too
Too
far.
far.
Maybe hard to distinguish. Use your best judgment. Maybe caused by bad modification or paint job. Maybe caused by misconceptions of a cool bike. Now, a lot of thought went into this because that's actually true. Where it's
Yes.
like you can go full Busa boy and have a nice bike that has a turbo and all that, but you can end up in this territory
Where you go just a little too far.
You got quad Busas and trike Busas and chrome Busas, all kinds of crazy shit. You know?
Mm-hmm. Or just a lower jigster.
Oh God.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, that's Brandon's
Feel
bike.
judged.
Where do we want to start with this one? I mean, this is a lot.
I mean,
of,
if this was a purely on effort alone, my God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so much thought went into this. Is like a school chart, you know, like
Yup.
this was like a final project or something.
so
okay.
quality. It's a little small.
The quality is, I think I love that they used Comic Sans for comedic effect. That was
Yes.
pretty funny. I give it an 8 for quality,
Yes.
honestly, because it's a lot of effort went into it.
It was still legible, even though we had
Yeah.
to blow it up quite a bit. Creativity.
I think a 10, honestly, because so much thought went into it and like what's going on and like really like a flow chart of boosas. No one has thought about the etymology of the boosa up until this point.
There was
The-
research into that.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was research, the ontological implications of the busa. hierarchy, right?
However, you can find every single one of those photos on the first page of Google.
Yeah,
You're like, I've been there.
you just Google the word Busa. Actually, this is interesting.
You know this, yeah.
If you Google Hayabusa, you get actual pictures of Hayabusas.
Yeah.
If you Google Busa, you
Yeah.
get something completely
Can you
different.
pull up Google? Because I would love,
Yes.
because I know what you're talking about. Yeah, look
So,
up Hayabusa.
Hayabusa. Just Hayabusa in the image search here, and you get.
Wait a
pictures
minute,
of Busas.
wait a minute. Look who's right there.
Yep, Google doing the Lord's work.
Look at that. If you go back on the main
Not
page,
clickbait.
yeah, you go back on the main page on that on all. Look at the second video that pops
I
up.
bought
Yup.
a Busa.
Just Hayabusa. I did it. I did
You're
it.
on Google.
I SEO'd my way to the fucking beyond.
Took a Busa to get it though.
All right. So like you said, you look up Busa. These are just standard Busas.
Yes, and now we type in Busa, and these are the Busas that appear.
The stretched one. The
Look
two
at
seaters,
the quad Busa. You weren't
Yeah.
fucking kidding.
The trike Busa. Yeah, you got.
Look at that. Look at that blue one at the end.
Yep, with that
Chrome
super long
blue
swing
or-
arm.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I love this
This
one
is
that has the two
Purple fuzz
wheels.
One. What is
Yeah.
The furry Busa.
The furry, I've seen that one. So this is fascinating. This to me tells me that Hayabusa is one thing, a Busa is another thing
You
completely.
currently have a Hayabusa.
I have a Hayabusa that's
Yep.
You do not
working
own a
its
Busa.
way to being a Busa.
We need to put the speakers back on it. We got to get a stretch on there.
We gotta get the lights on all the time. This is fascinating.
I'm surprised you didn't know this.
I didn't know this. That Busa's one thing, Hayabusa's another.
Yep.
This is incredible. This is a true. I really have learned something today.
Yep.
So back to the score.
Funniness.
I didn't get a big
I think it's
belly
very
laugh from it.
factual.
It's
I
very
very
factual.
I agreed with it, but I didn't laugh.
Yeah, I didn't laugh. I'd say a 6 for funniness, honestly,
6.
because it was We're still 24 is a respectable score. I think that places it for
That's
second.
our number one
Yeah.
so far when we remove German A2 boy.
Yeah.
So our last one comes to us from Gol Brew.
He submitted one the other
He
week
submitted
too, right?
one
Was
last
he a winner?
week. He was not.
Oh, okay.
This one is simple.
When you get the boosted to third gear and you give it more than a quarter throttle. Yeah, they do feel like that. I remember the first time I rode that bike, that is exactly how I felt. I was like, I can't believe how this thing's so much torque, you know?
Yep.
First and second gear, when the tires are cold, it just spins.
Mm-hmm.
Just spins all day. You got to ride it, Brandon.
I don't want to.
You have to ride the Hayabusa.
You do have to ride it, yeah.
Take it to ECR.
I did it.
Okay.
If you thought the R1's brakes faded,
Oh, my God.
the Busa's brakes fade on the fucking street.
Yeah, the Busa's brakes don't work on the street, and then when you take it on track, you're like, oh, it doesn't have brakes.
See, but I have yeet energy, so I won't figure that out until the back straight.
Brandon, that's the thing. I like you. I don't want you to die, you know? And you will die on that. Yeah, no.
You'll be at the
Because you'll think it's like a normal sport bike, and you'll just kill yourself.
You'll be at the clubhouse and be like, oh, well, look at that dust cloud. Oh, that's my Busa.
Yeah.
Get it when the turbo's on there.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that
We're
is
not
coming up
taking it
so
out there.
soon.
We're
I
not
don't
taking
want
it
to
out
think
there.
about it. Oh, God.
So we've got to get our scores in.
Yeah, so this is almost like a wholesome classic meme format, honestly, like with the
Yep.
top text, bottom text, reaction animal thing going on. Pretty good, pretty good.
Quality.
Quality's not super high, I would say. Maybe
6?
like a 6. Yeah, 6. Creativity, 6 as well.
6, yeah.
6. Now, funniness, unfortunately, I didn't even chuckle when I read it. I was like, oh, that's true. It made me like breathe a little bit of air out of my nose. I was like, huh,
It's because you're too close to it. That's why.
Yeah, too close.
Too factual for you. If you didn't know, you'd be like, oh, yeah. haha.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
It's still about 4 or 5.
I'm thinking of 4 as well. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
So that one is a slightly lower score at 16, which
16.
makes Just Playing our default winner for this week.
Beautiful. So just playing. You are our winner for the week. Spite will follow up with you a DM and get you your $100 Revzilla gift card. Congratulations. Very good meme. Very factual. Very thorough. And I think we all learned something today.
Agreed, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. Thanks so much for watching the Yamcast, everybody. Tune in next time. See you later.